almost fell down the hole to my death then. That wouldn't have been good. Dying in Dark Souls is one of those slow, painful things that happens. A lot of people don't enjoy it. Especially, well, it's a bit like Mario in the sense where you die and you have to start again and get through all the hard challenges over and over again. But yeah, some people like the struggle. Which is why Dark Souls is one of those games that just brings up so many arguments online. Over whether the game is good, bad, or unbalanced, or many different things. Especially in PvP. There's so many arguments about that. Healing is one of those things that everyone gets pissed off over. You're not allowed to do it. It's just one of those commonly accepted things that no one allows you to do. Also, bowing at the start is one of those things that you should do. But recently, I have people that, like, you can't cancel bowing animations in this game, but you can in Dark Souls 2. Shit. This guy's being an absolute dick. Dick Rafe. Yeah, not only do all those rules apply, but there's also dark magic. Pretty much magic users in general get hate online. People that heal, people that don't bow, even though people counteract bows with a backstab and be absolute dicks all the time. What else is there? R1 spammers, they get absolute hate all the time. Anyone that basically does a lot of damage. But there are many different types of counteractions that you can use in Dark Souls. There's Wrath of the Gods, which cancels out magic damage pretty much. I actually did tweet out a chat recently of me talking to someone that was pretty angry because he lost mainly. And he was pretty pissed off about the fact that I was using magic, and he was using Wrath of the Gods, and I switched to the Hornet Ring, and I started pretty much backstabbing him, because that was the only type of damage that I could do. And he was, and then he started healing, so, I didn't heal at all during that fight, and so he was healing. Not only that, he was spamming Wrath of the God over and over and over again. So I didn't do any magic damage at all, and I was pure magic build, level 66, and then he sends me all these hate messages afterwards. Because I beat him, obviously. And that's what happens a lot of the time. Everyone is so fucking pissed off about this game. If you look on pretty much every Dark Souls video has dislikes. Just because people don't agree with certain things that are happening in the video, because there's this commonly accepted thing that everyone has to follow. And I mean, obviously you don't have to follow it. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can heal in PvP, you can gank, you can do whatever the hell you want. But, I mean, the only thing I don't really like at all is hacking. Even though there is a way to counteract that with gravity, that's pretty much the only thing I don't like. Everything else in Dark Souls is totally fine with me. If someone's ganking, you know, it's more of a challenge in my eyes. It's not something that I would totally, you know, start sending them hate messages for. Honestly, I just turn notifications off when doing PvP and just do whatever the hell I want. And if people totally disagree with that, then that's their problem. You know, I'm just playing the game of what the developers have put in. Developers put these things into the game. They also patch things in the game. So, I mean, they would have at least had the... Oh shit, I'm getting absolutely ganked there. They would have had at least, you know, the common sense to remove certain things like Darkbeard, or even nerf it if they wanted to, but they didn't. They just made it better in the next Dark Souls. And that's mainly why everyone else is not playing Prepare to Die Edition. They're all playing well, Bloodborne at the moment because it's the latest one, but majority of people are playing Dark Souls 2 because Darkbeard in Dark Souls 2 does barely any damage, and also there's a punishment for using it. It takes away your souls, like Climax, which is probably the strongest spell in the entire game. It can one-shot people in PvP. It actually removes like a ridiculous amount of souls from you. Like, I think it's 20,000 at least. So I mean, that's a lot. You'd have to farm a large amount of souls. So I mean, that doesn't really balance out the damage. It just punishes whoever uses it. But it is a hard spell to get, and I believe it does take up quite a few slots. And also it removes your souls, so I guess that sort of balances out a little bit, even though it's ridiculously overpowered in PvP. One of the things a lot of people also complain about is healing in Bloodborne, even though it's one of those games where, you know, it's totally based around healing and blood and all of that, because the actual healing item themselves is called Blood Vial, and everyone uses it. So I mean, people are just pissed off about that at the moment, and some can say that it would be acceptable if they removed healing from PvP and only kept it for the PvE part, like they implemented a patch that would stop healing entirely. But of course, that can also be abused. That can also be abused in PvP, because people can come in with their one-shot build and do something extremely unfair, and they'll get away with it because the other person can't run and heal. I'm in a pretty dangerous spot right now. A bit of a trade there. Just gotta sort of wait for an opening here. Try not to get caught there. It's not looking so good. Hopefully there's not another Dark Wraith up here. Alright, we're good. Oh, fuck. We are not good. But yeah, all arguments aside, that's not the type of trash I want to be seeing in my comments section. No arguments about Dark Souls in general. It's a game, everyone plays it, people do what they want, end of discussion. But the only reason, I'll say this one thing, the only reason why FromSoft isn't doing anything about what's happening in Dark Souls is that there's really, like, they don't have time to do it at the moment. They're working on other games. They're doing other things, Same with what happened to Modern Warfare 2, there's a lot of hackers in there as well, generally because it's an old game and no one's paying any attention to it. And also, there's a lot of noob tubing as well, using one-man army. And there was a massive outrage about that. And of course people were pissed off, and then the developers should have gotten word of it. They would have gotten word of it by now. Just so that they could fix it, and I doubt anything would be, nothing ever happened. Like, they never patched it at all, and I doubt they ever will, because they're just working on future games. They pay no attention to the previous games that they have, even though they're like they're the game of the year, So, it's just my thoughts on the topic. Feel free to say whatever you want in the comments. And yeah, I don't really like responding to arguments about Dark Souls. It's not a topic that I'm really interested in discussing, just because it has no end. Like, you could argue about it for ages, and it wouldn't really come to a conclusion. So yeah, it's good to not talk about it at all. Get my hornet ring. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and farm some chunks, and these dark graves also have a chance of dropping slabs, and also they also drop their dark hand, which can steal humanity from NPCs. You can actually steal like a large amount of humanity if you go up to an NPC and then put the dark hand in your right slot and press RT, right trigger. So yeah, slabs, of course, very rare chance to drop. They rarely ever drop for me at all. The chunks is what drops. Chunks actually drop more than the dark hand, in my experience. But in other people's experiences, the dark hand could drop more than the chunks themselves. This guy's just spamming. Absolutely spamming. There we go, there's an attack I like to see. So I think farming is one of those things that I should probably do off camera, because it's pretty tedious. So I'm going to be farming these dark graves for quite some time, and I think now is a good time to sort of leave the episode off where it is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, and I'm going to keep farming these dark graves, and I'll meet you back at Firelink in the next episode. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.